Hello, my name's Steve Milton, and thank you for joining me on this 5-minute video to explain how to use our digital O&M manuals. Denaploy was founded in 1989 initially as an IT company, and we started undertaking O&M manuals in around 2005, which was just at the beginning of the transition from paper-based through to digital O&Ms. In the last 10 years, from 2013 to today, 2023, we've documented probably £3.5 billion worth of projects, which range in size from, I don't know, a toilet block at a hospital through to the finishings of a £1 billion development. And we've worked with some of the top main contracting companies in the world, in the UK especially, and all their consultants. And some of them are very demanding. From the beginning, we put a lot of effort into gathering information that will be useful for the end user, even if it goes beyond the essential requirements of the CDM 2007/2015 health and safety elements, of which the O&M manual is of course a part. Our second objective always was to make sure that the manuals were easy to use and that the information that we've gathered is not hidden somewhere within a folder, within a folder, within a folder. So let me go now and show you how this works. So typically you will receive this package from us, and this is a splash screen which gives you the access. We've got here various useful things within the software. For example, you have DWG readers, PDF readers, anything else like that. And if there's any specialist software in the installation, then it might have a viewer that we've got in here that will be included. I'll come back to this browsing the content. It's important, but I'll come back to it later. The basic manual, as I said before, the health and safety document is the master, and then the O&M manual, these other volumes, are a subset within it, just technically speaking. So we do all of it in one go. The building fabric, mechanical elements and electrical elements, sometimes it varies, depends on the size and type of the project, exactly how this is laid out. So if I click on here, the first thing you'll notice is that we're opening up a Word document. We chose not to go the PDF route because technically companies are supposed to try and keep these manuals up to date, so they should have an archive copy, which is the record copy, but they also can have a live copy that people can update and use. You'll notice that this is opened with a navigation pane here on the left. It's really important. We've gone to a lot of trouble to make sure that this is a useful way of navigating. If you don't see the navigation pane, it's because of the way your Word structure is set up. All you need to do is to go to this View menu and then click on Navigation pane, and it'll appear. The second thing that's really useful is right-click on there, Show Headings, go to Level 2, and now you can see the structure. Okay, so these are all the various fabric elements within this particular project. Each one of them is structured in more or less the same way. So you open it up and you can see it. Open it up and there's the structure. So, and if you want more information on who the contractor is, it'll open up in the main window over here. Scope of works, there's your scope of works. Go to the manufacturer's information and there's all of these data sheets that you would expect, so you've got full access to them, and these are all set up as hyperlinks, which means with one click you open it up And there's the information. Browse through that, close it, you're back into the manual. Really very, very simple. And as always, it's quite difficult to make things this simple. I'll point out a few other things on here which are useful. Every page in its footer here has got a version number. The reason that's important is that it sometimes happens that your client will ring up 6 months or a year after the project is over and say, I've got the manual and it's missing all this information. And the first thing you do is check which version they're looking at. It might be that they've got an early draft version that somehow has got into their records, and it saves a lot of trouble. The second thing that I would point out is you don't have to go back to the splash screen to go to the other volumes. They are all just here. So the mechanical volume, the electrical volume, or the health and safety volume. Just click at the top here of this menu structure, the contents page. If one spends a little bit of time showing this to the client so they get the feel of it, it saves them and everybody a lot of wasted time. You'll notice that there's a mark across all the pages. This one is a training manual. It might say draft, it might say handover. The only one that doesn't have that watermark across all these pages is the final version. I hope that's of use. Oh yes, of course. I said I wanted to go back and I'd come back to this browse contents issue. The way we have got this structured underneath the Word documents is a set of appendices here. So each of those hyperlinks goes through to the appendix. They're reasonably well structured as well within the appendix, but there's no need for anybody to look at them in detail because you can get to all that information through those Word documents. I know there are a lot of our competitors, and historically people will just give you a whole load of appendices and you've got to look for folders within folders within folders in order to find the information you're looking for. That's not how this works. You access the information through these Word documents and the appendices is just where we're storing it. The other bit that's of interest is that if your client puts this onto their own server, as long as they keep all of these files together in a single folder, then those hyperlinks will work because they're all relative links. Sometimes we will send drafts out to people. Well, there's two things. First of all, that splash screen, some companies prohibit, these are all exe documents, and some companies prevent you actually opening an exe file because of security considerations. So if that happens, excuse me. If that happens, we just send it as a file structure. Quite often it'll also be with, it'll be zipped up. You need to make sure you unzip it so that you're viewing the full documents, otherwise those hyperlinks won't work. Otherwise it all works exactly the same way. I hope that's been of use to you. Please do give us a call if you've got any questions, and in the future some of this might change and there will be another video coming up shortly. Thank you very much for your attention. Cheers now.